What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you as always. If you've never been here before, I survived 17 years in the New York prison system. I've been home for just over a dozen years. Everybody else that's returned, welcome back. Welcome back. Always remember, jail sucks. You see the shirt? Jail sucks. You don't want to go there. For those of you that have never tuned into my channel before, I discuss the prison system a great deal. I speak about what it's like to be in there mentally, emotionally. I talk about the prison system itself, the process and the way it works. Cover some criminal cases, and once in a while tell stories about my personal life. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about a nasty fight that I got into when I was probably about 18 years old, 17, 18 years old. Real bad one. Um, I've told this story about a year or so ago on my channel. I don't even remember. I'll have to check. But let me say this, just because I am telling a crazy fight story that turned into a burglary, right? Doesn't mean I am condoning this behavior. Do not go and do this. If you are a youngster and you're watching this channel, all this can do is end up bad. And in my days, there was no surveillance. So in my days, there was no camera to catch me doing this. Otherwise, I would have been locked up and thrown in the hoosegow right away. But this one I got away with. So let me get right into it. I was walking with my friend Bo, and a couple other people, my friend Mario and my girlfriend Nikki at the time. And as I said, we were maybe about 18 years old. And we were walking with a case of beer, heading to the beach to drink some beers on the beach. It was about 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. And I had my girlfriend piggyback, like in a piggyback. And we're walking through the neighborhood where there's 50 bars and everybody's drinking. And as we're walking past this bar, three guys come pouring out of the bar right onto the sidewalk. The bar door opens and you come out right onto the sidewalk. And when they do, these guys bump into us. They just like bump right into us with no consideration. And these guys were guys that were in their 30s, and we were 18 years old. So I guess they saw the kids walking with a case of beer and they're going to bump into us, no big deal. But that started it right away, because as soon as they did bump into us, I took my girl off of my piggyback and I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Guys, watch where you're going. What's the matter with you? And the fight starts right away. So there's three of them and there's three of us. Mario is fighting one guy in the street. All of a sudden, it just explodes. We all start fighting. Bo is fighting the other one, and I pick this one guy, and we're standing in front of the bar, and we start going toe to toe. And at 18 years old, I was in some great physical condition, and I boxed, I wrestled, I was in good shape. And I start going at it with this guy who's in his 30s. And I remember the funny part of the story is he had a real Irish accent. He had a real, what they call like a Gaelic accent. And he put his hands up like an old Irish fighter. I had never, when they go like this, I see he went like this. And I looked at this guy and I'm like, is this guy corny or something? What is he going to do? And he says to me, you want to fight? He goes, I'll teach you how to fight. And I go to get him, and boom, he just busts my face open with the first shot. And all of a sudden, he hits me with three shots out of nowhere. Bomb, bomb, bomb. And lights me up. He lights me up. So I back up away from him and I go to get him again, and he gets me with a few more shots. Bing, bing, bing. This guy could fight. He was good. So I realized that myself, I have to grab him. And so when I go in again, I duck down and I grab him like from his thighs, from behind his thighs, and I lift him up in the air. And when I lift him up in the air, I swing him down. And when I swing him down, I slam him into the ground really hard. And his head hits the curb and cracks open. This was not a good thing. The blood starts pouring out. Let me tell you how crazy my girlfriend was, Nikki, that I had at the time. Because as he's on the ground and I'm looking down at the guy, I says, "Oh my God!" And she takes a 40-ounce bottle, a glass bottle, and smashes him right over his face. This was a chick. She was tough. Nikki was nothing to play with, and beautiful too. But she had some set of cojones. And so now I want to get out of there. I just want to get away because this guy is seriously injured. I didn't intend for him to be that injured, but when you're in a bar fight, it happens that fast. The guy was beating the shit out of me. I had no choice but to pick him up and slam him. And when I did, his head cracked open. So I run. I take off running. We all split off in different directions, and I run down to the beach. And I say I'm going to go to my buddy Rob's house. He's like 2 miles away, which is nothing when you're a kid. I go onto the beach and I just start running because I want to get away from the scene. I want to get away when the cops come. I don't know what happened to this guy. And so I run down the beach. And I get like halfway to my buddy's house. And I said, let me come up off the beach back onto the street. And so when I come off the beach back onto the street and start walking down the block, I see some police lights, right? Probably not for me because I'm a mile away from the scene already, but it still makes me panic a little bit, still makes me nervous. So I duck behind a deli. There's a deli, a delicatessen. I duck behind the deli until the cop cars pass. And as I'm behind the deli, by the back door. And I said, let me check the door. And the door looks rickety, it doesn't look too, and as I said, these are the days of no surveillance. So I haul back and kick the door. Boom! Now I'm inside of the deli. One kick, I'm right in the deli. And the first thing I go for, like I said, I'm a kid, is I'm going to go for the cigarettes. They had a whole wall of cartons of cigarettes, 100 cartons, 150 cartons of cigarettes. So I locate a black garbage bag in the deli and I fill it up with all the cartons of cigarettes. I fill an entire black garbage bag up, tie it, throw it by the back door, grab another black garbage bag, fill that up with cartons of cigarettes. So I got 4 or 5 grand just in cigarettes. And then I said, let me go check the register and see if there's anything by the register. And I go over to the register. I don't know how to open the drawer to see if they left any money in there. But I look down and there's a brown paper bag and it says lotto. And I open it up and it's filled with cash. It's their lotto money. And they left it inside of the delicatessen in a brown paper bag. So I grab that, stick that down my pants. It's time for me to go. And I go out of the back door. But now I got these two big black garbage bags, and I'm in kind of a fancy residential neighborhood too. This is like the only store in the neighborhood. So I can't be seen now in the middle of the night walking with two black garbage bags on the road. So I cross the street, I hide the two black garbage bags behind the bushes, and I call another friend of mine. Now it's time for me to go. Now I want to get out of the neighborhood altogether because I just had the assault with the serious injury. I just did the burglary and I got the money. And so I call a friend of mine who lives in Brooklyn, right? His name is Yaakov, an Israeli friend of mine. And I call him and I tell him, yo, listen, I need you to come get me right now. I just had a little score and I need you to come get me. He says, I'll be there in an hour. So I just lay low and wait for my buddy to show up. And when he shows up on a Harley Davidson. I got two big, I didn't tell him that I had something to move. I got two big, huge garbage bags filled with cartons of cigarettes. I got the cash, and this guy shows up on a Harley Davidson with an extra helmet. So I tell him, yo, I got this stuff. He says, go grab it, we'll manage. So we get on the bike, and he's on the motorcycle, and in between me and him, I have one big, huge garbage bag stuffed in between us. I have the other one behind me that I'm leaning on. It looks crazy. The both of us on these bike with these two big, huge bags, and I got the cash down stuffed in my pants, and we take off to Brooklyn. And when we get to Brooklyn, we make it there in one piece. We get to his house, and I say, I could take the cash out and count it. There's thousands of dollars in there. More than 5 grand in there. I honestly don't remember the exact number, but there was definitely more than 5 grand in there, and which was a lot of money to a kid, you know. So I wanted to buy him something. I said, "Yo, let me know what you want. I'll buy you whatever you want." I actually went to the pet store. He wanted a dog, and I bought him a boxer. You know, he wanted, there was a little puppy boxer. I bought him the boxer. The Chicago Bulls were, I was a kid. I was reckless. You know, the Chicago Bulls were the main thing in the country at the time. So I bought like a $700 black leather Chicago Bulls jacket. It was beautiful. I bought a couple other things, and then I went home and sold the cigarettes. I probably got 1,000, 1,500 for the cigarettes. Who knows what it was? But it was a crazy night where it started from. I ended up staying in Brooklyn with him for like 2 days too, because I was afraid to go back if anyone knew it was me in the fight. So don't know whatever happened to that guy. And Mario and Bo said to me, "Yo, what the hell happened to you that night?" I says, "I got a story for you." And I told them the whole story, how everything spiraled out of control. Yeah, it was pretty nuts, man. It was pretty nuts. So that was a quick fight story on how the assault turned into a burglary, turned into that whole ordeal. And that was every night for me, to be honest with you. I could give a million stories like that. I was a reckless, reckless kid. I am not condoning it at all. Even though I may tell the story with some excitement, please realize that that is the wrong way to live, of course. That is not proper. It is not morally correct. It is not something you should be focused on living your life like that. I was a crazy kid. I felt like I had a lot to prove. And if you feel like you have a lot to prove, prove it in a different way. Prove it by being successful. Don't prove it by being a waste. That's my lesson for today. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.